The Promise, Part 14. The alert on Mark's screen pulsed like a heartbeat. The red code blinked, then expanded into a map of coordinates and timestamps. He read it with the slow, careful calm of a man trained to notice the little things others miss. A deposit had cleared in Newark, then a small withdrawal at a gas station on the outskirts of the city. The system traced a chain of transfers, quick, dirty, and textbook. Money passed from hand to hand, then funneled into a single account controlled by a name already flagged on an international ledger. The trace stitched those transactions to a route between Spain and Mexico, a thin black line that led to a bigger net. He tapped the secure line. The number answered on the second ring. Commissioner Ruiz's voice came through, steady and clipped with authority. "Mark Davis," the commissioner said before Mark could speak. There was no question in his tone, only the professional gravity of a man who recognized work when he heard it. Mark handed over the facts with the same economy. The envelope had been taken, a deposit hit an account in Newark, partial spend at gas station 44B, coordinates logged and tied to an overseas transfer pattern. The software had done what Mark intended. The money carried a hidden signature that lit every node it touched. There was a pause. Then the commissioner exhaled. The sound threaded with relief and respect. "That line, you just gave us the hook we needed," he said. "We've traced the account back to handlers connected to the Mexico-Spain trafficking ring. Units are moving right now." Mark watched the feed as the green on his screen flicked from trace to track. Within minutes, the commissioner's voice returned, more urgent now. "Newark Task Force has frozen the account. We've identified 3 names and 1 address tied to the boss. SWAT and the anti-trafficking unit are en route. Arrest teams will move on the boss's compounds in Madrid and a drop point outside Valencia. The men who took the cash? Apprehended at the gas station. We've got them in custody." On Mark's screen, the timestamps aligned. Deposit at 10:22, withdrawal at 10:36, arrest logged at 11:05. Each click of the mouse matched a step police had already made. It was surgical, clean, and fast, the exact kind of efficiency the commissioner trusted Mark to create. "You did this quietly," the commissioner added, his voice softer. "You saved us months of chase work. You always had a way of seeing the fractures others miss. I can't tell you how much that helps. I owe you, and so does this city." Mark closed his eyes for a second and let the compliment land. Mark Davis knew now, as Chris had been, the man who'd once pulled strings to get the commissioner placed where he could do the most good. The respect between them ran deep and reciprocal. Chris was really hoping Lena wouldn't catch him on this call. He kept glancing out the window, but managed to wrap things up right on schedule. "And Mark, tell Tom to expect debriefing calls tonight. This one's bigger than we thought." When the line went quiet, the trace status changed to confirmed. Target netted. Mark stared at the screen, the glow reflecting in his eyes. For a small, perfect moment, Mark allowed himself the knowledge that the 2 men who had beaten Maria had been caught, that a broader net was closing on a trafficking route, and that the envelope he'd left had done more than pay a debt. It had opened a door to justice. He whispered to the empty apartment across the street, not wanting to sound triumphant but steady and certain that there was no looming threat to his sweet Lena. This whole sneaky business wasn't his favorite, but he felt he had no other option. Being Chris was his top priority now before he could switch back to being Mark. Things had shifted for him. Keeping Lena safe felt as vital as the air he breathes. He knew he needed to sort things out without her finding out. Just then, there was a knock at the door. Lena was back. Lena stepped into the apartment, holding her passport and a folded paper in her hand. Chris was already seated at the small dining table, his laptop open, a faint smile touching his face when he saw her. "You found everything?" he asked. She nodded, her smile glowing. "Yes, my passport and the details for my mom." He typed carefully, asking now and then, "Your mother's name again?" "Makosa with an A," she replied, leaning closer, her shoulder brushing his arm. They both smiled at how near they were. Then a small chime sounded. On the screen, the words appeared, "Transaction successful." Lena's photo reflected on the laptop, smiling back at them from the passport page. She laughed quietly. It's really done, she said, her voice light with disbelief. Chris turned to look at her. It's done, he said gently. She exhaled, resting a hand over her heart. Thank you, Chris. You don't know what this means. Chris stood a few steps from Lena, his laptop closed, the air charged with unspoken tension. Chris's voice lowered, calm and sincere. Lena, I'm asking you, please, give me a chance to get to know you. Not as the man you helped, but as a man who's had feelings for you since the first day I saw you. I want to know what makes you smile, what makes you cry, how I can make you happy. I just want a chance to love you right. Lena looked at him softly, her voice barely above a whisper. Yes, Mark. Chris, I'd love to have that chance too. The name Mark slipped from her lips naturally, without thought. The sound of it unraveled every restraint in his body, a quiet force pulling him a step closer, as if her words alone had called him home. Chris's breath caught. His eyes softened. The sound of her voice saying yes stopped everything inside him. He wanted to say thank you, but the words wouldn't come. Instead, he stepped closer. In that moment, his control began to crumble. His pulse quickened, every inch of him aware of her, the faint scent of her skin, the warmth of her breath. His hands trembled, not from fear, but from the effort to remain gentle as his heart raced. He couldn't control his body reaction. When their eyes met again, something in him gave way. He forgot restraint, his gaze shifting between her lips and eyes as if searching for permission.